Psalm 7, verses 9 through 17. O let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the righteous. Their minds and hearts are searched by the righteous God. My shield is with God, who saves the upright in heart. God is a righteous judge, yes, a God who has indignation every day. If a man doesn't repent, he will sharpen his sword. He has bent and strung his bow. He has also prepared for himself the instruments of death. He makes ready his flaming arrows. Behold, he travails with iniquity. Yes, he has conceived mischief and brought out falsehood. He has dug a hole and has fallen into the pit which he made. The trouble he causes shall return to his own head. His violence shall come down on the crown of his head. I give thanks to Yahweh according to his righteousness, and will sing praise to the name of Yahweh Most High. Psalm 7, 9-17. One of the things that stuck out to me, and I think it's kind of fitting in the same sense, I think last week when I talked about the first half of the psalm, I focused in on verse 8. The one that stuck out to me here is verse 9. Oh, let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the righteous. Their minds and hearts are searched by the righteous God. Let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end. Let the evil of the evil come to an end. We see a lot of evil that's happening in the world. Social media has inundated us with it. News medias are turning to this more to attract viewership. And it's what we're constantly overwhelmed with. And while we always want to see the good, even seeing only good isn't good. There's got to be a balance to everything. As Ecclesiastes said, there's a time for this and a time for that. But there's a time to hear the bad stuff, and there's a time to hear the good stuff. Unfortunately, the evil of this world is so pervasive and so indebted. No, that's not the right word. So deep within ourselves and deep within the worldly constructs that we're in, that it's hard to see them overturned and hard to see them destroyed. And while we're putting up a heck of a fight, and we are, coming off the big No Kings protest that happened this weekend, you can see that there's people out there wanting to make a change, wanting to create a spark to make a change. People who may not be familiar with what's going on, people who may not be comfortable being in an environment like that, decided to go out and say, I want difference. I want change. We need more of that. We need productive more of that. What I mean by that is we need to do it in ways that allow for tangible outcomes to be shown. There's a lot of different ways that can happen, and what may be pertinent for me where I am, it would be different for you for where you are. So it is up to us to do the research and figure out what changes need to be made. I'm one that is big on seeing what issues are in your town, and then once you have a grasp on that, then kind of branching out bigger. Because we're not going to change the big picture without changing ourselves. So it could be ourselves, our family, our friends, our community, our state, our country, you know what I mean. We need to start by that. And when we start to see the wickedness of what's going on, we know what to pray to God about. Obviously we would love God's justice to be shown, his truth to be revealed. Sometimes that's hard, and sometimes that truth isn't what we want it to be or what we thought it was going to be. So there needs to be that, again, both. There needs to be constant prayer for that wickedness to go away. And also that wisdom to say, God, where do you need me to be? What do you need me to do? And that kind of pulls back to that second half of verse 9. But establish the righteous, their minds and hearts are searched by the righteous God. We will find what is right through God. And that's also part of our task of studying these scriptures day and night, as Joshua 1:8 tells us. But it's studying them to understand, how does God want us to live? And we can tell by the ministry of Jesus, it's to have a self-sacrificial love for all people, to ensure that everybody has an equal right to life, to ensure that nobody is restricted from living the life that they were called to live. And regardless of if your opinions are different than others, or your ways of life are different than others, you don't get to be judge, jury, and executioner about it. We need to create this world to be all-inclusive. This world is for all. You and I don't get to be a judge. Christians, we are called to allow God to do the final judgment. At the same time, we are called to create a world that allows for equal compassion for all. Let's start to do that. Let us start to see how this wickedness of the wicked will end and how the righteousness will be established. Until Tuesday, we'll be back with Who I Am Again, I believe part 13 or 14, I can't remember. But we'll be back to that. Until next time, my friends, stay blessed.